Hey class, lesson 3 for week 4. We're going to review a little bit and then talk again about dividing decimals. So here's a couple review problems from the first unit. Where is 0.78 found on the number line? So here I have a number line that's broken into fourths, so from 0 to 1. We should remember 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4, and we should have those decimals memorized. So halfway between 0 and 1 is a half, and we should know that that is 0.5 or 0.50 as a decimal. Then 1/4, I like to remember it as 1/4 because 4 quarters makes $1, and 1/4 is 25 cents, so 0.25 is the decimal for 1/4. Then 3/4 is 75 cents is 3 quarters, and 3/4 is 0.75. So now, since I have this in hundredths place, 0.78, I have all my decimals to 2 decimal points too, so it makes it easy for us to compare to the other decimals. So 0.78 is just a little bit bigger than 0.75. So we'll put it about right there. Okay. Convert the fractions to decimal numbers or decimal numbers to fractions. A calculator may be used if necessary. So 3/5. Remember how we do this? We would take 3 divided by 5. Okay, so how many times does 5 fit into 3? 0 times. So then we add the decimal point and another 0. How many times does 5 fit into 30? Fits in there 6 times. Then 5 times 6 is 30, and we subtract, we get a remainder of 0. So 3/5 is 0.6. All right, how about 5 divided by 6 for 5/6? So 6 fits into 5 0 times. We add a 0 in the decimal point. 6 fits into 50. I know that 6 times 7 is 42, and 6 times 8 is 48, so 8 times. That's 48. We subtract 50 minus 48. 48, 49, 50, so 2 left over. Then we have to add a 0 to bring down. 6 fits into 20, 6, 12, 18, 3 times. I'm going to subtract 18, 19, 20, 2 left over, bring down another 0. 6 fits into 20 3 times, that's 18. Subtract, that's 20. You could bring down a 0. And I see a pattern reoccurring here. It looks like we're going to get a repeating decimal. The 3's are going to repeat. So 5/6 is going to be 0.83 with just the 3 repeating. So just the line above the 3. Okay, 0.10 or 0.10. This is we have 2 numbers, so you can either write this as 10 1/100ths, or 0.10 is the same thing as just 0.1, so that reduces to 1/10. 1/10 in the tenths place. 0.75, 2 decimals, that's in the hundredths place, so that is 75 hundredths. And if we remember that 0.75 is actually the same fraction as 3/4, so you can actually reduce this. 75 and 100 are both divisible by 25, and it equals 3/4. So 0.75 is just one of those decimals that I'd like you to be familiar with and have memorized as well. Okay, so here's a review for dividing decimals. I'm going to erase this so it's out of my way. Remember that when you divide decimals, you want the divisor to be a whole number. That's the number that you're dividing by. So if I wanted to divide here, I would want this outside number to be a whole number, so I'd move my decimal point over 1 place. Now, if you move the decimal over one place, you also have to move it over one place here. So then it becomes 2 and 16.4. So 16.4 divided by 2. Then you say, okay, does 2 go into 1? 0 times. I can't fit 2 into 1. How about 2 into 16? I say, okay, 2 goes into 16 8 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract. Bring down the 4. Because 16 and 16 is 0. 2 fits into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. We subtract, we get 0. And then remember, you take your decimal point and you move it straight up in your answer. So here our answer would be 8.2. All right, 1.65 divided by 0.3. Move the decimal point over 1 to make the outside a whole number 3, which means you move the decimal over 1 in the inside, makes that 16.5. Can 3 go into 1? Nope, so a 0 above the 1. How about 3 into 16? Well, I know that 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 5 is 15. So 3 times 5 is 15. Put the 5 above the 16. Then we subtract. 16 minus 15 will be 1. Bring the 5 down. 3 fits into 15 5 times again. 3 times 5 is 15, 0. Then take the decimal and move it straight up in the answer. So 5.5 is my final answer for that one. Let's try the next one. 0.5 divided by 0.2. So move the decimal over once to make the outside a whole number of 2. Move the decimal over once on the inside as well. So that would just make that 5. 0, 5 would just be 5. How many times does 2 fit into 5? 2 fits into 5 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract. We get a 1. Since we need to bring down a 0 here, we're going to have to add the decimal point in and add a 0, which means the decimal point up here as well. Bring down the 0. Now 2 fits into 10 5 times, because 2 times 5 is 10. So now we're left with 0. So our answer here is 2.5. And the last one, 0.84 divided by 0.6. So make the outside number a whole number, move the decimal point over once, move the decimal point the same number of times on the inside. So now instead of 0.84, it's 0.8.4, so just 8.4. Then divide. 6 fits into 8 one time. Subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down the 4. 6 fits into 24 4 times. 6 times 4 is 24. We are done. Move the decimal point straight up in the answer, 1.4. The more you practice, the easier this will become. Having a multiplication chart handy will help as well in deciding how many times a number fits into another number. I'm going to do one more on the video and then we'll save the rest for in class. I think I'm going to do this first one. So again, move the decimal over. Outside number is a whole number. Move it over one more time here. So 70.2. How many times does 9 go into 70? Well, I know that 9 times 8 is 72, so that's too many. So 9 times 7 is 63. So it goes in there 7 times. 63, subtract. So if I want to subtract here, I'm going to have to borrow. That becomes a 10, and this becomes a 6. 10 minus 3 is 7. Bring down the 2. And 9 goes into 72 8 times. So 8 up here, and then 9 times 8 is 72. So we subtract. And then we move the decimal point straight up in our final answer, so 7.8. I think that's all I'm going to do for this video. We'll go through the rest in class. Try a few